Welcome back to another exciting episode of Film Addict. I am your host, the Film Doctor. As you can see, we got our set back. We didn't get the 200 subscribers. I've been out sick with the flu for the last 8 days. You could probably tell I was a little under the weather on the last episode, but I'm back. I'm feeling better. We got our set back. We got another chance to show the networks that we can do what we make it do. So I'm going to waste no time. I'm excited. I'm so excited I can't even talk. I'm excited to talk about some of these movies. Two of the movies for what's coming soon and for new releases I don't really know anything about. I saw this movie. I don't know anything about the movie that I'm going to do the trailer reaction to. And so it's genuine. It's not like the last time where it was like Star Wars or Bad Boys. Like these are established films, so to speak. So these are movies I've never even heard of. So to be able to sit here and talk about it, I'm excited to do. So let's waste no time. Let's jump right into it with what's coming soon. All right, let's check out Vivarium. Never heard of it. I think Jesse Eisenberg is in it. Let's check it out.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Yonder, a wonderful development. It has all you'd need and all you'd want.
Saban Films that did Power Rangers. Just sorry.
Number 9 is not a starter home. This house is forever.
Maybe for a boy.
Do you have children?
No. It's not exactly what we're looking for. That guy was so strange.
Yeah. Wait. No, I don't think this is the right way.
Yeah, this is where we came in.
Number 9 again. Did we just do some kind of loop?
How if we just...
Want me to drive?
Such a joke.
Because I think this is not possible. We can't make turns like this over and over.
We have gone this way, Tom. Oh my god. Hello?
What's happening? Maybe they'll let us go.
What if they don't come? What are we supposed to do? Should we just sit here and wait to die?
Oh, okay. Now shit picks up. Who puts a baby in a box?
It's a boy.
Give a little time for the child within you. Don't be afraid to be young and free. Run to the locks and throw away the keys and
All we wanted
up and run you.
was a home.
You are home.
Creepy little mutant.
I don't even know what to say about that trailer. Before looking it up, I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I'm going to not even really look and see what it's about. But I was like, no, let me get a small synopsis about it. And basically learn that it's about this family that's looking for a new home. And they find this neighborhood, this house, number 9, that ends up being in this neighborhood that's like a labyrinth that they can't get out of. And so that does explain that just from seeing that trailer. But I think that this was one of the kinds of trailers where it doesn't tell you a lot. They play more music than they play video clips that make sense. So it's a little bit hard to understand. But for Rotten Tomatoes to have given it an 89%, and they're a tough critic. That's kind of the reason why I'm doing my film review channel, so that I can kind of give a review and a score from somebody that also is knowledgeable in films, but is a little bit more personable on their opinion. Instead of just saying, this is good to me or not good to me, whatever the case may be, is it a good movie? Looking at this trailer, I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to say about it. I think that it honestly could go both ways. I don't even want to look at Rotten Tomatoes score. I want to look at just the trailer that I see. It looks interesting, to say the least, okay? As soon as I saw them open up that box and I see a live 8-pound, 9-ounce baby boy just sitting inside of this box, I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So to me, it looks interesting. Like, where is it going to go? So I don't really know. I don't know if it looks good or not. Judging from the trailer, meh. Not really impressed by the trailer, but I'm interested to see if it's good. And that's really all I have to say about that. So let's jump right on over to new releases. This one's another tough one because going into this movie to see The Gentleman, we're talking about The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey, a Guy Ritchie movie. I had to even look up Guy Ritchie films. Come to find out, first of all, he did Snatch, which is a classic, so I'm told. I think I may have saw it, not sure if I really liked it, it didn't stick inside of my head. But to look up some of the other films and see that he did that brand new Aladdin version, the live action Aladdin, I was like, what? That's Guy Ritchie? He did that? But granted, just because he directed is not the reason why it's a great film. I mean, there was a lot of really good cast members. It had money behind it like Disney. It wasn't, my budget that was funding it. It was Disney's budget. So they had a lot of other things that made that movie really good, but he was the director on that, so I am really impressed. But going into The Gentleman, I knew nothing about. I think I remember seeing the trailer, and even from seeing that trailer, I don't even remember what I had saw, what I understood from it. I didn't rewatch a trailer going into it. I was like, I'm the film doctor. I watch films, I review them. Let's just go in, check it out, and see what it's about. Honestly, 30, 40 minutes in, I'm like, what in the hell is this? I'm confused about the entire story. It seemed like it was this guy, he's going to pitch a movie to this other guy, and I'm like, I don't get it. But how it opened, I'm like, oh, this is about to be an action movie. Then it jumps into this whole thing that I talked about, like presenting a script to somebody. I'm like, this is stupid. Is the whole movie going to be him trying to pitch this made up movie of his? Like, I don't get it. Honestly, watching it further, you end up understanding some things. You still don't understand everything until you get to the end. It's a very, very, very complex movie. I mean, if you don't have the stomach to sit there and watch and try and understand, because it was at a point, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, 30 minutes in, I was like, I'm gonna get up and walk out. Let's go see another movie. I think The Turning's out. I'll go watch The Turning because this is stupid. I'm glad I stayed. It's not to say that this movie was amazing, but it was way better than I thought it was going to be. It was entertaining. It still had that complex storyline from beginning to end. The music, this music and tone, it was like a British, there was a lot of British actors. There was a lot of British atmospheres and tone and feeling and accents that were delivered from a lot of different people. I don't really want to even say Colin Farrell was in it. I think he's a British. If he's not a British actor, he's a foreign actor. He's definitely not American because I've heard him speak like off camera, and that's not from any one of our 50 states. So I don't know. I think that the music was actually really interesting. It was like this British hip hop slash techno kind of feel, but the songs that were delivered inside of that kind of genre that I described were so good. Like, I'm bobbing my head too. I'm like, can this not be on 95.5 or 107.5? Like, this is my, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it was really good music for this kind of genre or tone that was being delivered inside this movie. So I think that the music was amazing when you think about it. The cinematography, it was basic. It was your basic kind of, let's just film this kind of thing. There was nothing unique that I noticed from a cinematography aspect, but for what it was worth, it still was good. The story, it stayed complex regardless. There's nothing that I can do to change the story. I think that I have 2 different ratings, and I know I said I didn't want to give my rating and then the other rating, but I think that for me as a moviegoer, I think that it rated at a B. It was a B. You know, when I first was watching, I was like, this is a D, this is an E. It actually turned out to be, I would say, a B, in my opinion. Now, looking at it as the film doctor, looking at it as how all other people that are going to see this movie, how are they going to view it? I honestly think they're going to see it as a C+. I think it's because our attention span is very limited. You know, so for us to have to pay attention to everything that happens, to understand this story and still be lost because everything's not being explained, you're being thrown breadcrumbs here and there, and you don't know what the hell is going on until the end, but you're still interested because the action and the suspense is sucking you in. You still want to know more. That's what makes for a good movie. In my opinion, as a film doctor, I think for anybody that goes out to see movies, you should see it for what I saw it as a B. But I know realistically not everybody can see it for that aspect. So in general, I think that for a movie made for people to see, it's a C+. I recommend people check it out. You know, if you like those kinds of movies that, yeah, they're complex, but they had this big slobber knocker of an ending. They had this mind-blowing segment that happens and kind of sets you back like, damn, did that really happen? I think that this was one of those kinds of films. So for me, that's really all I have to say about The Gentleman. I actually do recommend people check it out, regardless of the rating that I give it. I do think that it's a good movie. I think that it starts off slow and it's complex, but I think for what it's worth, it was well done. Definitely not better than Aladdin. Live action Aladdin, not even cartoon Aladdin, but it was still good. I say check it out. Now let's move on over to Must See. This movie I'm excited to talk about because it's one of my favorite movies. It's called Wind River. They might as well have just had Disney produce it under Marvel because it has 2 well-known Marvel characters, Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch, aka Jeremy Renner, and what is the third Olsen twin. Like, in all honesty, she's not really that important to me. I don't know her real name. She's the third Olsen twin to me. But she was really good inside of this movie, and so was Jeremy Renner. It's basically a movie about this murder that takes place on Indian, like, reserve land, however you want to describe that. And so I've learned that when the Indian reserves, they kind of have their own law and guidelines that's separate from, you know, United States laws and guidelines. Like, they're their own entity in some aspect with how they do things. And so a federal agent, which is the third Olsen twin, that's what we're calling her. That is what we're calling her. Let's just accept that and move forward. The third Olsen twin, she's not even a twin. Why am I saying that? I don't care. Let's move on. The third Olsen twin, she plays like an FBI agent. She comes in to try and, you know, solve this whole murder that has taken place. Jeremy Renner, his character is somebody who lives and has family and, you know, a connection to the person that was murdered. He ends up finding the body of the person that was murdered. And basically they cross paths. They kind of work together to try and solve this murder, this mystery of who did it and everything. And I think that the movie, the music, the cinematography, I always hate when I bring up cinematography because cinematography, like, I'm looking for something really unique and special. It wasn't anything unique and special. It was really the music, the story that really captivates you. It really, you know, keeps you at a point where you're like, I gotta know what happens. Oh snap, this happened. Oh snap, it was him or her. Oh snap, like, this movie just from beginning to end. Well, the first little bit, you know, they have to obviously open up and tell the story, but still, once you jump into it, it doesn't take really long. It's not like The Gentleman where I had to wait like an hour and 45 minutes to figure out anything. This was a point where maybe about 10-15 minutes in, stuff's starting to hit the fan and you can actually sit back and just enjoy it. I think that it's a rated R movie, so you can't watch it with your family, but You can definitely watch it with your significant other. You can watch it with friends. It's definitely a movie that I think if you haven't seen it or heard of it, because it came to theaters but it wasn't big, I have suggested this movie to so many people, and every single person, I can't think of one person that I've suggested this to that watched it that didn't like it. Not one. Every single person has loved it. I have watched this movie, throwing out a realistic number, how many times I've seen this movie? 70 times. I've seen this movie 70 times. Not even gonna lie. Matrix 1 is my favorite, was my number one favorite for a while until two other movies came out, which were Dark Knight and Ready Player One, which is my number one, and then number two at Dark Knight. But Matrix I have seen 139 times. I watched it one time back to back, 6 times inside of one day. So for me to have seen this movie like 70 something times, that's huge. This is a really good movie. Looking at the rating on what I think it should be rated, honestly, I'm giving it an A. But I think that the first time I saw this movie, it's placed at an A+. I've just seen it so many times, I'm like, yeah, it's good. But when I think back to like, man, I remember when I first watched this, I was like, damn, this movie is so good. This is A+. This is one of the best movies I've seen in a while. So either way, whether it's A, whether it's A+, it's definitely worth everybody going out and seeing it. That's really all I got to say about it. Check out Wind River. Check out The Gentleman. I don't know so much about Vivarium unless you like babies in a box. Either way, I think that this has been a great episode. I can't thank you guys enough for joining me in this channel. I am looking at about 500 subscribers. When I get up to 500 subscribers, I am going to find a way. I'm going to raffle off a gift card, whether it be AMC, whether it be Fandango. I'm going to do a lot of other different kinds of giveaways and things that I can do. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, email. I have to say it every episode. I don't know why. And this has been another exciting episode of Filmatic.